So welcome to the audio of PalacioMagazine.com. We're here with candidate Eric Gray. Eric Gray is going to face Janine Pierce in a runoff election for the Long Beach City Council seat representing the 2nd District. First of all, good afternoon, Eric.
Good afternoon.
Before we get started, I wanted to take a look, just sort of a big picture of the 2nd District. It includes parts of the Port of Long Beach, downtown, the waterfront, the beach, many historic residential districts and small business corridors, but it also has some of the densest and most diverse neighborhoods in the city. Is that about right?
Absolutely, it is.
Let's start with what you believe are the 3 major priorities that you would like to address in your first 3 months in office.
Sure. In general, with the 2nd District, my top 3 priorities are quality of life issues such as street and sidewalk repair, finding parking solutions, homelessness, further beautifying our neighborhoods. Especially parking is a major issue in the 2nd District. It was built, we had poor planning done back earlier on, and we have apartment units with maybe 12 apartments and 6 parking spaces, so we have a lot of impacts on the neighborhood. Also, homelessness is a huge issue for the 2nd District as well, so those are major issues that I'm going to be working on, as well as partnering with our neighborhood associations. Also, public safety is a big issue for the 2nd District. That's a priority of mine as well. Bring back police and fire resources. We have a lot of property crime in the 2nd District. And in regards to fire, we have a lot of new development, and response times are slower because of all the new calls and so forth. And my 3rd priority is economic development, which is a passion of mine. I definitely believe we need to bring in jobs to the downtown community. We have opportunities for high tech, for more port-related jobs, to offer jobs for everyone in the city of Long Beach, and also working on the business corridors across the 2nd District, such as Broadway, 4th Street, 7th, and 10th Street, and the downtown area.
Let me zoom in on a couple of things, one of which you already talked about. Public safety. Is the answer only more police?
Well, no, I do believe that we do need more police officers on the streets. Like I said, we have property crime, violent crime is up as well. But that's not the only answer. We also need community policing programs, police officers on bicycles and walking the beat. We have a great police force. They work under high, stressful situations. But certainly, we always want to work with the community. Also, there are issues with Proposition 47 that was passed a few years ago. I believe Prop 47 was a well-intentioned proposition to reduce the amount of incarceration. And to be fair, the state did not give funding to our local municipalities for drug rehabilitation programs. But Prop 47 allows a person to steal up to $950 worth of property, and they can do it again the next day. And we are seeing a spike in property crimes after Prop 47 was passed. So I think that we need to modify Prop 47 at the state legislature as well to help.
And how would you do that as a city council person?
As a city council person, I do not have jurisdiction over the state government, but I can talk to community groups and so forth for them to rise up and speak with our state representatives such as Patrick O'Donnell and Senator Ricardo Lara to see about modifying Prop 47 at the state level.
Not to belabor that issue, but there are those who say that that's an oversimplification in terms of saying Prop 47 is responsible for the increases in crime. What would be your response to that?
Well, I think we can always improve programs. However, if you look at the statistics, since Prop 47 was passed, property crime has gone up. And I certainly believe that drug rehabilitation programs are the way to go. I don't believe criminalizing people doing drugs is the way to go, but rehabilitation programs. But let's look at statistics. I don't think this is an ideology issue. I think this is looking at the facts and being pragmatic about the situation.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the $15 wage, an hour minimum wage, and its potential impact on small businesses, and whether it's even enough in a town that's seeing increasing rents and change. So it's passed on the local level. There's, of course, on the statewide level. How are you going to, as a council member, monitor it so that, one, it's fair to the business community, and two, it's also fair to people who might say 3 years from now, $15 is not going to be enough, although it's more than 3 years before we see that level. Trying to balance those two interests. How are you going to try to do that?
Absolutely. Well, I supported a minimum wage increase, but at the same time, I also supported a study at $12 or $13 an hour to see the impacts on business. Certainly, we live in an expensive area in the United States of America. Basically, the way you calculate rental prices and home prices, typically it's 33% of a person's income to afford that. So based on the current minimum wage, someone can only afford about $567 a month, and that's a room. So I certainly do not support people working 40 hours a week and not being able to afford a place to live. I think that's terrible, and I support a minimum wage increase. That being said, I think we need to look at business owners and work with them because they are taking on quite a burden. So I do support a economic impact study at $12 or $13 an hour to see where we're at. And I know it's going to continue up to $15 an hour. We have to make this a balanced approach. We have to do workforce development here in the city. We have to bring new companies and nonprofits to Long Beach and offer more jobs for our local citizens. And we have to be cognizant of the cost of living here as well. So we really do need a balanced approach that works for everyone.
The big thing that's going to happen on June 7th, of course, is measures A and B.
Okay.
If the sales tax happens and you're the city council representative for the second district, how will you ensure that the money raised is going to be spent on the items that the city says is going to be spent on? Because that's one of the criticisms on the anti measure A and B people. So
Right. Absolutely. And I understand that. And I know that basically we had Measure I that was put to the ballot a few years ago that was going to charge property owners, and it passed by 53%. But in order for that to pass, it had to get 2/3 vote because it was going to be designated to infrastructure. This time around, Measures A and B imposes a sales tax increase with only a 50% majority. And the reason is because it would have to pass by 2/3 to designate it to police, fire, and infrastructure purely. Now, of course, the mayor's intentions are very good. We do need more police officers, we do need more fire officials, and we need to fix our infrastructure. And I support Measures A and B. As a council member, if elected, I will ensure that that money that gets raised by Measures A and B goes to the general fund is designated for police, fire, and infrastructure. If I ever hear that money would be allocated to a different department, I will stick my neck out and block that from happening. This is for police, fire, and infrastructure, and that's what I intend to utilize it for.
although that's going to be an interesting accounting
True.
overview.
So the city is estimating about $48 million for the first 6 years, with
Right.
the first 1%, and then down to $24 million for the remaining 4 years. And so that's what we're going to have to somehow account for with our financial services department.
Right. Not to be pessimistic here, but what happens if the sales tax increase isn't approved? What happens, well, to all the things that the city would like to do, but now can't do? So what happens?
We live within our means. I mean, as someone running for city council, I'm running on fiscal responsibility as well for our budget, and we have to live within our means. I do think that as we do not pave our streets and sidewalks and our alleyways, they get worse and they become more expensive. And as we are seeing property crime and violent crime rise up, we're going to have more issues. So this is a decision that's put out to the voters, and I'm happy that it's put out to the voters. So we'll see what happens, but we have to live within our means.
Right. Please tell us one standout difference that we might not know between you and your opponent, Janine Pierce.
Sure. Well, I'm the only lifelong Democrat running in this race. And as a lifelong Democrat, I'm a pro-business lifelong Democrat. And my particular supporters are Democrat, Independent, and I have Republican supporters. I'm here to represent everybody, and this is a nonpartisan race. I think we have different priorities. I think I'm definitely a little more prioritizing working on our business corridors, neighborhood beautification projects. I'm certainly pro-labor. My mother was part of the teachers union for over 30 years, and my father worked in the private sector as an accountant. I believe that I'm the best balanced candidate for this political race, and I think the second district needs someone who can understand business, labor, and the community very well, and I believe I'm the best candidate to do that.
How long have you lived in the second district?
Close to 9 years. Ever since I lived in Long Beach, I lived in the second district.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Is there Would you like to make a brief closing statement?
Well, thanks for having me here today, and thanks for running Palacio Magazine. I think it's really important to the Latino community. I was endorsed by Honor Pack, which is an LGBT Latino community, as well as Councilmember Lena Gonzalez of the 1st District. I just want to let the public know that I'm here and I'm open to speak to anybody about their issues, no matter what political party you are, what stance you have. I'm here to talk with you about these issues and come up with the best solutions for the city of Long Beach. I think we have a great future ahead. I think the 2nd District is an amazing district filled with great people, different types of living situations, whether it be single-family homes or apartments or condominiums. And I think we have a lot to do. I think we can build up the blue economy on the waterfront down by Alamitos Beach. I think we can continue to improve our downtown areas, work with better public safety, and work with the community in our neighborhoods to improve our areas. So I'm here to help. I'm here to talk, and thank you for your time.
You want to tell us maybe if people want to get more information about your candidacy and how to contact
Absolutely.
your office?
Sure. My website is www.ericgraylb.com. That's www.ericgraylb.com. And if you click on platforms, you can see my entire platform list about City Council. And please feel free to reach out to me with any questions that you have.
Great. Well, thank you again very much for joining us on RadioPalaciomagazine.com.